This episode is proudly supported by Westholme Australian Wagyu. Here's Stephen Sinclair from Jackson's on George.
In general, Westholme, I use several items on the menu from them. I always look to source products for their flavour. And with Westholme, I think they deliver that 100%. Australian Wagyu, in particular, Westholme is world class. Westholme is recognised for their quality all over the world. And then that's why, and when I tried it, and I absolutely love the flavour. This is, why I decided to put them on the menu.
Westholme believe that when nature leads, flavour follows. Learn more at westholme.com.
It's still an amazing place to be because you can have everything from your milk tea and your roast meats just on the street corner, and you can have your high-end fine dining Michelin-starred meals as well, and it's all here, and it's all it's just a never-ending buffet of food, basically.
Hey everybody, Dani Valent with you for another episode of Dirty Linen, and it's pretty fun for me to say these words because I am walking through the streets of Hong Kong for this episode, and I'm here with food journalist Janice Leung Hayes, who is living in Hong Kong. Hi Janice.
Hi Dani, thank you for having me.
Well, you're a return guest on Dirty Linen, but when we spoke it was 2020 and it was very quiet on the streets of both Melbourne and Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Different times, and I'm actually thrilled to get you back on for a more lively episode.
Yeah, and it's great to have you in Hong Kong, we're, doing this in person.
Yeah, it's really amazing. So tell us, first of all, where we are, where we're walking, what we've just done and what we're about to do.
Okay, so we are in the Sheung Wan area of Hong Kong. We have just been to a chaan teng, a local cafe, called For Kee, and they're famous for their pork chop rice. So we've just had some great pork chop rice, a pork chop bun, pork chop fried rice, pork chop everything, and some milk teas, which I hope you enjoyed.
Absolutely loved it. So you had a hot milk tea, I had a cold milk tea, and we also talked about the culture of milk tea and how I'm allowed to like my milk tea and you can like a different milk tea.
Exactly, yeah, exactly. Because everyone has their own preferences for how strong they want their tea or how balanced or what kind of balances they want in their tea, how much milk they want in it, how much sugar. It's fully, it's individual taste.
And I mean, if you came to Hong Kong and you didn't have milk tea, would that be a grave error?
Oh yeah, of course. It's the number one thing I would say. If you come to Hong Kong, if you want to try food and drink, the number one thing is milk tea. It's kind of is Hong Kong. It's the Hong Kong drink. That's the end of story.
But I suppose, the essential is just the beginning of the story of food, eating and drinking in Hong Kong in general. What would you say Hong Kong's like these days as a place to visit with a food obsession?
Oh, it's amazing. It's always been amazing. Hong Kong, people are obsessed with food in Hong Kong. There are so many restaurants of all budgets and sizes and cuisines. And it's always been amazing. And right now, we were very slow. Hong Kong was very slow to open up after COVID, and I have to say a lot of businesses did suffer because of that. But there's this sort of hustle culture in Hong Kong, and everyone's just trying to rebuild and restart everything, and just get back to normal business as usual kind of level. So it's buzzing, and it's still an amazing place to be because you can have everything from your milk tea and your roast meats just on the street corner, and you can have your high-end fine dining Michelin-starred meals as well, and it's all here, and it's all it's just a never-ending buffet of food, basically.
So Janice, I guess I've noticed experiencing two pretty different styles of service here in Hong Kong. Some of it's that beautiful, timeless Asian hospitality, and some of it's a little more brisk. Can you sort of explain the vibe?
Yeah, so if you're in a local, say a wonton noodle shop or a chaan teng local cafe, you wouldn't expect anyone to slowly and with a smile say, "Hi, how are you? How's it going?" None of that. And it wouldn't be normal if they did that. They would probably be trying to scam you. if they were. It should be very brusque. You should expect it to be brusque. And that's just part of the culture here. They just want to help you get along with your day, get on with your day, and get your milk tea in you, which is kind of very caffeine laden. So get it in you, get some egg in you, get some toast in you, and then move on. So that sort of attitude is kind of because they care, because they want you to get back to work and make money, and that's the number one thing in Hong Kong: make money. And so then you go to, say, a high-end restaurant at a really nice 5-star hotel, and they are kind of the ultimate example of service. They anticipate your every need. They give you a hot towel as soon as you sit down, or a cool towel if it's very hot outside. They know everything. Like they'll give you the right glass for the right wine and all of that, like nowhere else in the world. And that's the full spectrum of experiences and of attitudes that you can expect in Hong Kong.
Oh, I love. So tell us where we're walking now, because I want to stop and look at this egg stall.
Yeah. So right now we are still in Sheung Wan. So Sheung Wan has a lot of wholesale food, and two things in particular. One is wholesale herbs, so Chinese medicinal herbs, and the other thing is dried seafood. So actually, if we go down this way, we should be able to see some more. So dried seafood, Hong Kong, the dried seafood market in Hong Kong is they say it's the largest one in the world, wholesale and retail. But I think that's just because there isn't another place in the world where you would actually, go buy things like, shark's fin, even though in a lot of the world, shark's fin is discouraged or illegal. But there still is, this is ground zero of that trade, whether that's a good thing or not, or probably not a good thing. And there's also things like sea cucumber, sea conch, we can keep walking down. Sea conches, even starfish and lizards and things like that. So everything that you want and everything that you don't, you will find in the dried seafood market in Hong Kong. And it's all around these streets in Sheung Wan and Sai Ying Pun, so Western, it's called like the Western District.
And is the dried seafood mostly culinary or mostly medicinal?
Dried seafood, well, that's an interesting question, because I would say, Amelia, you okay? Yeah, that's your park. I know that's your park, but we're not going there right now because we've already been. I know, Amelia, I know. We'll come back later, all right? We'll come back later. Yeah, food and medicine, I think in Chinese culture, Chinese food, there's no clear definition. Everything that you eat affects your health somehow, whether good or bad. And dried seafood, a lot of the time, is seen to be good for your body and does have medicinal benefits. So yeah, apart from being very prestigious cooking ingredients and very luxurious ingredients, they're also meant to be very good for your body. So you can see here, that is the swimming bladder of fish. So they're giant and they dry them out, and that's used for things like soup, and where it kind of breaks down into this collagen-y sort of texture, and it's seen to be really good for you. It's meant to be really good for your skin because of the collagen, and it has lots of other purported benefits as well.
Yeah, I had that in a soup the other day, and it was that sort of gelatinous almost, like quite chewy still, but chewy and soft at the same time.
Yeah.
And I did feel like I had a nice sheen to my skin.
And it doesn't have any taste of its own, really. Like there's maybe imparts some sweetness into the soup, but mostly it relies on, say, the chicken stock to give it flavor. Shark's fin, for example, has no flavor at all. It's just cartilage, and it does 100% relies on the soup, the stock that it's cooked in. Yeah.
And the egg stall that we just walked past.
Yeah.
So let's just describe it. That was just lots of open cardboard egg trays piled up just in a laneway in the open air under some bamboo scaffolding, and like I just loved the way it looked. Was that all different kinds of eggs?
Yeah, so there were normal eggs there from different areas of China or Thailand and America, and there were also century eggs and salted eggs, and I think there were a couple of types of each of those as well. So yeah, I mean, I guess in most cultures, people eat a lot of eggs. So yeah, that place just kind of specialized in it.
Yeah, I love it.
So right here, this is we've stopped now at a Chinese sausage wholesaler, and this season, it's interesting. So towards the end of the year, when it starts to get a bit cooler in Hong Kong, it becomes like sausage season. So we're told that when the winds start getting a bit drier is when you should hang your the sausages are traditionally hung out to dry, to air dry. Whereas during the summer or other seasons, it's too humid, like they would just rot. So yeah, so now is the season to eat Chinese sausages, and so you've got tons of them out here.
Yeah, there's a lot, all different colours, different spice levels. And I guess
different fat content.
Yeah,
and also some are liver sausages, some are blood sausages, and some are duck, and some are pork.
Yeah, they look amazing, beautifully presented as well. Tell me about roast meats and their place in Hong Kong food culture.
So roast meat shops are everywhere. It's something that Hong Kongers will eat for any meal, breakfast, lunch or dinner or snack. You can even eat it like charcuterie. It doesn't even have to be hot. And it's one of those things where if you don't have enough food at home, say you're heading home for dinner and you go, oh crap, I've only got one dish and I need another one, you just buy some char siu or something and take it home, and that would be your extra dish. That's just the default thing. Or even if you had some left over, you would fry it up or scramble it with your eggs for breakfast, or you would have some in your fried rice for lunch. It's just everywhere, and people are just anyone who's lived in Hong Kong or grew up in Hong Kong has just grown up eating it, and hence are very picky about it, I would say. Any roast meat shop that doesn't do a good job will pretty much close fairly quickly. Like the market will tell them that they're not doing well enough.
And when we're looking for quality, I mean, so is it like the glossy, crispy skin, the sort of rendered fat, and then the juicy meat? Is that what we're looking for?
Yeah, so if you say, let's say we're talking char siu. So char siu is like the sort of the pork butt, I guess, or the shoulder sort of area. And you're looking for the meat to be juicy, a good distribution of fat, so not like huge chunks, just a very even, almost marbled distribution of fat. You want it to be not too dry, so roasted well. You want it to be glossy on the outside, but also these days especially, people don't like artificial colouring. Whereas back in the day, colouring it red was a way that it was a way to trick the eye, I guess. But now, people are very picky about that, and they can spot right away if there's some red dye in it. So that's char siu. If you're talking, say, siu yok, which is the roast pork, the crispy roast pork, then yes, you need it to be crisp. There's a type of they describe the skin as sesame skin. So it looks like little bits of sesame on top, like the air bubbles are small and dense and packed together rather than very far apart and very big bubbles. So say in Western roast pork, you often see these large bubbles on top of the skin. And if you asked a Chinese grandma, they'd be like, tut, 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 that's not good roast pork, because they want to see that very fine, like sesame-like bubbles.
What about roasted goose? Because I've just had some of that earlier today, and it was really good, but I'd say I'm definitely not a roast goose expert. We don't eat it much in Australia.
Yeah, goose, because goose, I think, it is seen to be superior to duck. And if a place serves roast duck, it's seen to be done just because of cost reasons. It's supposed to be an alternative, a cheaper alternative. So you want the skin to be crisp. It doesn't need to be brittle crisp because it has that sort of flexibility to it as well. It should be slightly spiced. So inside you can taste a little bit of the 5-spice powder, but not too much because you still want to taste the goose. And often people like the thigh or the leg because it's more tender, it's juicier, and the breast usually is a little drier. But if it's done well, it should also be juicy. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I had the leg, and I was actually astonished as I bit into it through that skin is exactly as you say. Like it had a crispness, but it didn't shatter.
Yes.
It just sort of like tore, I guess broke nicely. But the meat was so juicy and tender. It was really a concentrated flavour and so just so mouth-watering. I can't even talk about it without getting excited all over again. Even though I would say any little pang of hunger in Hong Kong is something to be celebrated because I'm eating 24/7.
Yeah, exactly. Because everywhere you go, there's something tempting you. Like, have a bite of me.
Yeah.
It's only a snack. That's fine.
That's all right. I can fit in one more thing.
Yeah.
Well, Janice, I feel like Amelia has had enough of us recording this podcast, so I'm going to wrap it up and say thank you so much for sharing Hong Kong with us. It's amazing to get a taste of it through your eyes and tongue.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's such a pleasure to talk to you. And again, like in Hong Kong, it's so nice to have you here.
Yeah, I'm thrilled. This is Dirty Linen, and I'm Dani Valent. We air the issues that the hospitality industry finds hard to talk about, hearing from different people with unique perspectives. We want to hear from you as well. If you have something that needs to be said about a topic, get in touch so we can include your perspective. Contact us at dirtylinen@deepintheweeds.com.au or hit us up on Insta at Dirty Linen Podcast. We can't wait to hear from you.
This is a Deep in the Weeds production.